On the 1st of September 2024, Finnair, the national carrier of Finland, celebrated 70 years of continuous service to London Heathrow Airport. Today, the 1100-mile or 1800-kilometre route is served by a mixed fleet of Airbus A320s, A321s, A330-300s and their flagship, the A350-900, up to 4 times a day. They also plan to increase these flights up to 6 flights a day in the not-too-distant future. These aircraft feature comfortable cabins, in-flight entertainment and all the amenities you can expect from a full-service airline. However, it wasn't always this way. Finnair's route from London to Helsinki was started on the 1st of September 1954 with a Convair 440 Metropolitan, a far cry from the Airbuses that fly the route today. The Metropolitan is a single-aisle, roughly 40-seat, twin radial-engined aircraft with a range of 1930 nautical miles or 3,100 kilometres and a service ceiling of 24,900 feet. It was an update to the Convair 240 design of 1947. Modern for the time as it was, the Metropolitan was still slow, thirsty and susceptible to weather. As a result, the journey between London and Helsinki was completed in around 8 hours and sometimes up to 12. It also required 2 fuel stops in each direction in Dusseldorf and Copenhagen. For comparison, Finnair's A350-900 flies the route in around 3 hours and climbs up to 43,000 feet, allowing it to make good time and fly over bad weather instead of having to divert around it. And these flights weren't cheap either. In 1954, a ticket on this flight would cost the equivalent of £1,900 or 55,200 Finnish marks adjusted for today's inflation. Fortunately, Finnair doesn't charge anything like that for their flights today, with a typical economy class seat on this route costing on average £174 and $546 in business class. Today's journey starts at 7 AM at Hatton Cross Tube Station on the Piccadilly line. This train will be taking me to Heathrow Terminal 3, Finnair's home at Heathrow. But Heathrow is far from a small airport, and before arriving at security I've got to navigate the labyrinth of tunnels under the airport. I'm travelling light and on my own today, so no need for a trolley and no one to slow me down. The walk from the Piccadilly line platform to the Terminal 3 concourse can take between 5 and 10 minutes. It's not a confusing journey at all, but it can just feel like a long one. I'm lucky enough to be flying business class today, which affords me lounge access. Finnair uses Lounge C at Terminal 3, the Cathay Pacific Lounge, which is shared between Cathay Pacific and Finnair as well as China Airlines. This lounge has ample seating for groups of passengers and individuals alike, and features a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking Ramp Romeo, which is sandwiched between Pier 6 and 7 at Terminal 3. This view is somewhat restricted, but doesn't fail to please. In terms of foods, the lounge is well stocked with a selection of much nicer foods than those found in the regular departure lounge, and serves a mixture of European and Asian cuisines. On this Sunday morning, I went for a small plate of scrambled eggs, a couple of sausages and beans, along with some orange juice and a small strawberry smoothie. Then I found a chair facing the window and took in the views. My flight today hasn't actually arrived yet. It's currently over the North Sea and due in as the 0910 arrival from Helsinki, flying as AY1331. The flight is being operated by Oscar Hotel Lima Whiskey India, a 7-year-old Airbus A350-900. It first flew on the 11th of May 2017 under the test registration of Foxtrot Whiskey Zulu Foxtrot Whiskey. It was delivered new to Finnair 3 weeks later on the 1st of June. Whiskey India is one of 17 Airbus A350-900s Finnair currently has in its possession, ranging from Oscar Hotel Lima Whiskey Alpha to Whiskey Sierra. They also have another 2 on order, with expected delivery dates of 2025 and 2026 respectively. Their A350s are kitted out in a 321-seat configuration spread over 3 classes, with 30 in business class, 26 in premium economy and 256 in economy. The airline is currently in the process of refitting their A350s with their new business class seats, but more on that in a bit. Before long, it's time to go to the gate. Today we're lucky enough to have Gate 1 at Terminal 3. It's a bit of a trek from the lounge, but having Gate 1 is a little bit more special than any of the other gates. Unlike with most flights that day, the celebration was in full swing upon reaching the gate, with a small kiosk offering complimentary sweets to passengers in a nice little presentation box. But the best was yet to come, with a small speech from the airline.
My name is Spencer Adway, I'm the Team Heathrow Director here at Heathrow Airport, and I'm delighted to be part of the group here to celebrate Finnair's 70th birthday on the Heathrow to Helsinki route. 70 years ago today, on the 1st of September 1954, Finnair's first flight to Helsinki took off from Heathrow at 8:45, stopping at Düsseldorf, Copenhagen, before finally touching down at Helsinki at 18:30, which I hope is a little longer than your direct flight today, which is scheduled to last just 2 hours and 50 minutes. Heathrow Airport have had a strong relationship with Finnair since then, and we look forward to them increasing their daily frequencies between London and the Finnish capital to 4 per day to 6 from the end of October. So thank you for flying on Finnair from Heathrow Airport today, and I wish you all a really safe and pleasant journey today.
In addition, we were sung to by the Finnair choir, welcoming us aboard what was to be a very memorable flight.
Welcome.
After the choir serenaded us, boarding was called for our 10:20 departure. This was my first time flying on an Airbus A350, so I wasn't sure exactly what to expect from this flight. What I did know though was that, for me, this was a new airline, a new aircraft type, in business class, with what I was assured to be a fantastic wing view. Safe to say, I wasn't disappointed. My seat today is 7L, the second seat ahead of the R2 door. This seat is of the Collins Aerospace AirLounge design, the new business class that Finnair has been retrofitting to their wide-body fleet. Quickly seated and doors cross-checked, we pushed back from our gate on time at 10:20 and made our way to runway 09 right for departure to the east. Upon reaching the end of the queue, we were number 9 for departure, having to give way to other aircraft before it was our turn to go. Fortunately, Finnair's in-flight entertainment system is available from the gate instead of having to be activated after takeoff, so the aircraft's onboard cameras, located on the belly and tail of the aircraft, became very useful while we waited. Number 9 for departure might seem like a lot, but with how fast Heathrow's operations go, that 9 soon became number 1 for departure, and the Trent XWB engines under the wing soon came into their own. We departed on a northeasterly heading, climbing out over North London and taking just about 20 minutes to leave the UK via Norfolk and getting to our cruising altitude of 42,000 feet on our way to Helsinki. Stunning as the views outside are, it's time to turn our attention to the seat. As mentioned before, this is Finnair's new business class product of the Collins Aerospace AirLounge design, being introduced on Finnair's A350s and A330s. This seat was unveiled in February of 2022 and has been called revolutionary, the world's best business class seat, and a win-win among other glowing reviews of the seat that deliberately doesn't recline. This seat attempts to remove mechanical complexity by only having one moving part, thereby saving weight. The seat back is already tilted to a relaxed sitting position, and extra lumbar support can be adjusted through the use of the pillows provided. The bed position can be achieved by raising the footrest found under the IFE screen and raising the leg rests, the seat's only moving part. The seat controls can be found on the armrest. The flat position too is very spacious, with plenty of room for your feet, and should be comfortable for anyone up to around 6'2" or around 2 meters in height. In the flat position, the seat also allows you to sit cross-legged, something which was specifically taken into account when designing the AirLounge, with Collins Aerospace and Finnair taking inspiration from the world's various cross-legged sitting cultures. The table too is very well designed. It's located under the seat control buttons and has its own button that unlocks it. The table does fold in half to save space, or indeed is more than big enough for a laptop or meal tray with room to spare. It's also a pebble shape and is easily movable, allowing you space to leave your seat while the table is still extended. In addition to the tray, there's ample storage for smaller items, with a twin pocket just ahead of the main armrest to the side of the seat. In addition, there's also a shallower cubby by your head, containing the seat's USB-A and C outlets, and a removable remote control for the IFE. There is also a universal power outlet at floor level. Let's turn our attention to the in-flight entertainment system. Finnair's IFE is frankly crystal clear. It's very easy to use and very informative with a wide touchscreen. With a healthy selection of films, series and documentaries of all categories, as well as things from and about Finland itself, it's hard to be bored on a Finnair flight. The airline even has 2 documentaries on themselves, with one on the airline's centenary in 2023 and one on the airline's choir, which we'll hear more from soon. A very useful feature is the system giving you a category of things you can still watch with the time that you have before landing, something which I've not seen on other airlines. The system also offers you a moving map, cameras, and even a wine suggestion to go with your meal. Finnair does also offer onboard Wi-Fi, which was available for purchase ahead of the flight or on board for either 1 hour chunks or for the full flight. This, however, was somewhat slow and could only manage a download speed of 12 or so megabits per second. The AirLounge seat is quite honestly cavernous and unique in its field. It's safe to say that Finnair has been very diligent in trying to stand out and make their own mark on the scene, breaking away from their previous, somewhat generic business class seat, ahead of opting for a new seat like no other. Not long after takeoff, the cabin crew came around with a drink service as well as a complimentary bag of pretzels. I opted for Finnair's infamous blueberry juice. Quite honestly, Finnair's blueberry juice was not safe from me on this flight. It's only a simple drink, but it has no business being as good as it was. I ended up having 4. Finnair served only one meal on this flight, but it did not disappoint by any means. I was served a breaded chicken and pasta dish with a small artichoke tartlet, 2 bread rolls and another glass of blueberry juice. The chicken was cooked just right. It was nice and succulent, but also the right size for a flight of this length. I also tried the artichoke tartlet, but it wasn't quite for me. With the meal service all but over, the flight attendant commented on the interesting and unusual setup that I had going on at my seat, seeing that I was controlling my camera from my tablet and a pillow under the window to absorb the light and reduce window glare. We got onto the Finnair choir and she mentioned that it was a nice, unifying niche of the airline. It's spread across all of the airline's departments and helps create a positive working culture at Finnair. She also gave me a still warm pastry and another blueberry juice. I warned her that the blueberry juice should be kept away from me, but she had already poured it, so I would have been ashamed to waste it. The choir came through the cabin to sing to us once more. They sang in every cabin of the aircraft, and this little niche to mark the occasion was greeted by applause from all. Finnair operates a fleet of 79 aircraft of all sizes between the ATR-72 and the A350-900, with an average fleet age of 14 years. Starting at the bottom, they operate a fleet of 12 ATR-72-500s and 12 Embraer E190s, largely for their regional and inter-European routes. They aren't afraid of sending small aircraft on long distances, however. Notably, Finnair uses the E190s as far afield as Manchester, Dublin and Geneva. Moving upwards, Finnair's backbone is its Airbus narrow-body fleet, consisting of 5 Airbus A319s, 10 A320s and 14 A321s, which operate the majority of the airline's inter-European services, often operating alongside the airline's wide-bodies. Those wide-bodies consist of 8 Airbus A330-300s and 17 A350-900s. In addition to high-density European services, these aircraft perform Finnair's long-haul duties. Many of Finnair's short-haul aircraft will be beginning to reach replacement age in the coming years. Notably, their ATRs and Embraers, and A319s and A320s are approaching or exceeding 20 years of age. Any replacement program the airline might have has not been made public, but the airline has a few good options for their replacements. ATR is producing the ATR-72-600, however when it comes to the replacements of Embraers and A319s, the choices are a bit more complex. The two frontrunners in this situation are the Airbus A220 and the Embraer E2. The A220 can largely replace both the A319 and E190 in a like-for-like swap split across the A220-100 and 300 variants. This would decrease costs in the long term but increase them in the short term, with the associated costs of introducing a new aircraft type to the fleet. It could, however, increase capacity and customer satisfaction through its clean sheet design, spacious cabin and large cabin windows. Embraer offers the E2 range of aircraft, the next generation of the E190s and 195s. These offer a largely seamless transition between the older and newer variants, but are less efficient than the A220, have less range and a smaller cargo capacity. Both, however, do seem to fit the current mission profiles of the airline's E190s and A319s. Finnair evidently does have some big choices to make over the coming years. Finnair has a very interesting business model. Bucking the trend for long-haul European carriers, until recently, Finnair had a large geographical advantage, with it being closer to many Asian cities than other European countries were. As such, a majority of long-haul services are to Asian destinations, with 20 Asian destinations compared to just 8 transatlantic offerings, including year-round and seasonal services. Until 2022, the location advantage was very pronounced, with Helsinki being a connecting hub between East and West. After 2022 though, and the closure of Russian airspace to Western operators, and Finland's political gravitation further away from Russia, the country's advantage was somewhat diminished, even if it hasn't disappeared completely. Today though, Finnair's brand can be found in a few unexpected places across Europe and the wider world, with the airline diversifying its operations somewhat. Not only does the airline have small bases in Nordic neighbours Sweden and Denmark, connecting both to Qatar in addition to Helsinki, but they also lease themselves out to other airlines. Recently, they have been seen operating a handful of A320s on behalf of British Airways out of London Heathrow. Additionally, they also have 2 Airbus A330-300s wet leased to Qantas to supplement their operations out of Sydney. But enough facts and statistics, let's get back to the flight. The flight crew came through the cabin for one more song before the seatbelt sign was turned on and we began our descent. We're approaching Helsinki's Vantaa airport from the west, descending over Finland's stunning southern coastline. Like the rest of Scandinavia, the Finnish coast is littered with islands as a legacy from the Ice Age and provides some stunning scenery as we descend towards Helsinki. We're due to land on Helsinki-Vantaa's runway 22 left. It's paved with asphalt, and with a 3.5 km or 11,500 foot distance, there's plenty of space for us to slow down without using too much reverse thrust or braking action, even after a rain shower has just passed through, as it had done a few minutes prior to landing. I'll let you enjoy the view as the flight comes to an end.
Welcome to Helsinki. Please remain seated and keep your safety belt fastened until the sign has been switched off.
And there we are, arriving into Helsinki right on time, pulling onto stand 45 at Vantaa Airport's Terminal 2. Finnair's AirLounge stands alone in the business class world as one of the best, most highly rated, cleverly and ergonomically well-designed airline seats. This, combined with Finnair's onboard service, provides a truly outstanding experience, especially for an inter-European flight. Finnair is certainly an airline that's proud of its history and evidently doesn't shy away from a celebration. And more to the point, they have consistently shown themselves to listen to their customers and be proactive when thinking of them and their needs, willing to go the extra mile to ensure that customers' needs are actually met. Over the past 70 years, Finnair has continuously served London Heathrow and has made a flagship destination out of it, using flagship aircraft and flagship cabin products. And with plans to increase their daily services from 4 to 6 flights, London is evidently a destination that Finnair values highly. The service has come a long way from that first Convair Metropolitan all those years ago. The airline has come leaps and bounds in that time, and the future looks brighter still for Finnair.